The second part of the data reporting spreadsheet demo corresponds to step 2 here, and that is to go to your data sheets and actually enter student data. You have a little summary here, so you can always double check here to get an overview of that. So let's do it. Your student data is on class 1 through class 6. Let's go to class 1. The first column would be where you enter your student's name. All of the shaded squares are what you type in. All of the white squares you don't type in. So if I try to type here, I get yelled at by Excel. You can scroll this way, and as you can see, your student names stay in place, so that's convenient for data entry. Let's say I want to enter the hours for August. I can do this. I have my student names here, and it's much more convenient for entering data. Okay, the first column is the enrollment date. For the purpose of this spreadsheet, please enter the last day of the month of enrollment. The spreadsheet recognizes that information to detect if your student is new or not. The active column is if you have a really long list of students. This is one way that you can get students. You can use this to sort to get the students that you want to be looking at while you're entering data at the, group them together pretty much. So this is really just for your convenience. Transferred and exited. When the student leaves your class as no longer an active student, you might want to put the date of the student's exit here. And again, for the purpose of this spreadsheet, use the last day of the month. So when I turn my update form in on September 30th, or at the end of September, I would put September 30th here. Contact 1, Contact 2, Note 1, and Note 2 are for your convenience. You can use them however you like. They don't show up on any of the formal reports. They only show up on reports that you'll be using. I use Contact 1 for phone numbers, Contact 2 for email. Note 1, you could, right now I'm using it to track the status of these students with regard to their initial enrollment paperwork, but you could put student first languages or home countries or any other information that you like. And then Note 2, I have some other further notes. This information here is required. This is assessment information. These 3 columns are for your pretest. Please enter the exact date of your pretest here. Enter the form that you used. And this is the CASA spreadsheet, so you see CASA information. But if you were using TABE, you'd have TABE form names here. And your scale score goes here. There are similarly 3 other sections for entering post-test information. And here are 12 columns for entering your student's attendance for the month. So Ms. Abera attended 20 3/4 hours this month. Okay. At the top here, at the end of the month, you should also enter the number of times you taught a class in that month. That's what lessons taught means. It means the number of times that class convened in that month. So I taught 8 classes, or we got together 8 times in the month, and that's what I typed here. This information is useful for data purposes, for the data team, but you'll find that it's also useful for you, as you'll see when we look at reports. So that's how you enter student data. Now, this data is organized in what Excel calls a database. And that just means that the data is organized a certain way. Excel recognizes a database as rows of information that are next to each other. So this bunch of rows that have student information are next to each other, and they're preceded by a single row, which is the titles of the columns, or you might want to call them fields. If you were to click a student name here and then ask to sort, Excel automatically recognizes that this is something that can be sorted by these names, and that these are what are to be sorted, because this is formed in the format of a database. The line before the database is empty, and the line after the database is empty. That's what it looks at to determine what a database is. So yes, these rows are all shaded, but from the Excel perspective, what it considers to be data right now is this stuff. And that means it sorts fast. I mean, if I had 10,000 lines here and Excel always checked all 10,000 lines for data, that could be slow. So it's actually kind of nice that it only checks what it has to check. The bad news is you don't want to enter a student name down here on line 30, because Excel won't see that as part of this data. Your new student's got to go on the first blank line, and then it will know to just go to here and stop. Also, you don't want to delete a student. So if you want to get rid of a student, and you select that student's row, and then right-click and clear contents, oh dear, now when you try to sort, Excel will only, sorry about that, Excel will only recognize this as the database, and all of these things will not get sorted. So what do? I just did undo to put that student back. So I want to get rid of, let's say, Gorka. What you want to do, one way to do it would be to take away his enrollment date, and then data, sort by enrollment date. Okay? Since he has no enrollment date, he gets put at the end. Now you can select across his line and clear contents, and he's gone, and what's left is still in nice data form. And you can do this for several students if you want. Another way you could go about doing it would be sort of the opposite. Indicate which students are active, and if this is a student that you want to get rid of, then that student isn't active. So, okay, so I'm getting rid of the students who are not active. So again, data, sort by active, go. And now the ones I don't want anymore are at the bottom. I can clear, and they're gone. Okay, so that's something to watch out for when you're fooling around with this. Paying attention to this formatting buys you the fact that you can sort, which is really nice. Again, that's data, sort, or right-click, sort. At least on my version of Excel you can do that. It also buys you a nice little form for entering your data. On the older versions of Excel, you say data, and then on the menu that comes up, it'll say form. This is a newer version of Excel, and that's not available on the data form, but you can go find it, this capability, and put it on your quick access bar up here, which I've done. It's right here. And the information for how to do that, I've put the details right here on your Step 2 information on your instructions page. So let's go back and see how this form works. I'm going to click here because I have it on my quick access bar. So this recognizes that I have 10 records in my database, because I have 10 students listed here. And it's at the first of these records, and that's Ms. Abera. She's right here. Okay, and then all of the fields that go across are also visible here vertically, and you can directly type the information in here if you want to. Maybe contact information, or she's no longer active. You can go from field to field by hitting Tab, and you can enter your changes and go to the next record by hitting Enter. That will put your changes on this page and go to the next record. And now you can make those changes, hit Enter, and it will just page right through all 10 of your records. Close when you're finished. So that's an advantage of having this organized as a little database. You can sort, and you can use this form. And there are other functions and things as well that you can take advantage of. So that's data entry.